Well, on behalf of the Eeyo Music Show on KUNM 89.9 FM and Blazin Reggae Vibes, www.blazinreggaevibes.com, we would like to welcome Lila Iké to the interview session. And how's your day?
Big up.
Right
My
on.
day is going great. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, yeah. Uh, First off, just want to thank you for sharing your time because I know that you're very busy these days. And I want to congratulate you on your new release, The Experience. You
Thank you
possess,
so much.
yeah, you possess a crucial sound and the world needs to hear and feel it. So I just want to give thanks for that.
Thank you, man. That means a lot.
So I was reading that you're from Manchester, Jamaica.
Yeah, that's right. I'm from Manchester, specifically Christian.
Okay. And what was your childhood like there, growing up?
Um, I grew up, doing a lot of stuff. I'm always taking part in like whatever entertainment is happening at school. So, dance, music. I used to draw also.
You're an
Um,
artist. You mean painting?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
Um, I grew up with, I was raised by my mom and my grandmothers,
Uh-huh.
and I have three other sisters. So there's a lot of feminine, very strong feminine energy around me. And yeah, it was pretty, it's not as active as Kingston. My mom grew me very strict. So I was at home most of the time if I'm not in school or at church, you know. So I
Mm-hmm.
grew very sheltered, and it was just a nice, simple country life.
Oh, very good. How did you make the decision that music was to be your career?
Um, I feel like music sort of kind of followed me all my life. Growing up in a household where music was played a lot, I
Mm-hmm.
started to sing along to certain records, and that's where my family and I actually recognized that I could sing. But
Mm-hmm.
even then, I wasn't really pursuing a career in music because coming out of the country, growing up, the way I did, being a superstar seemed a bit far fetched. You really have to just work very hard, go to school, study. I started university,
Uh-huh.
and just before I went off for university, I wrote a song which ended up being, just out of fun. I wrote a song which ended up being the graduation song for my year group. So
Wow.
at that point, a bunch of people recognized that, whoa, she actually can sing and she can actually put a song together, like compose a song. That's actually cool. Still wasn't pursuing music. I just thought, it was fun, even though a lot of people were saying, this is something you might want to get into. I
Mm-hmm.
was just pretty preoccupied with getting my degree and all of that, because that's what my mom, that's what would make her proud and happy. And that's
Right,
was my
right.
main drive. However, I started university. I didn't get to finish because, I'm not rich. It was my mom that was taking care of everything, and she started to go broke. So I had to stop school and start working. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I moved to Kingston. Moving to Kingston kind of opened up the world to me, because growing up sheltered, and now I'm on my own. I'm
Uh-huh.
working. I can go to different jam sessions and karaoke's, and I find I'm enjoying it more and more. And I guess I started getting some popularity, or more and more people started recognizing that, there's this girl called Lila who, comes and sing here every Saturday night. She's actually really good. A bunch of producers started reaching out. I started to do some work with a bunch of other people. I didn't actually put out anything professionally. And then a year and a half later, I met Protege. I actually
Uh-huh.
met him when I moved to town, because it was around the time when he was releasing Ancient Future. So
Okay.
I got invited to that album launch, and I met him there because my friend was working for him at the time as an intern. So she's like, "This is my friend I'm telling you about. She's a singer. You guys should work together." But I wasn't really being pushy. I was just like, if it will happen, then it will. So I
Mm-hmm.
was about doing my thing in Kingston, working, going to the jam sessions, and a year and a half later, he reached out and he's like, I've been hearing a lot about you. I've also heard some stuff that you work on, and I really think you have a lot of potential, and I would love to help you realize those goals if it's something you want to get into. At first, I was a bit like, whoa, is this really Protege talking to me? Because it wasn't on the phone. He reached out to me on social media. And then I met up with him and I realized, this man actually sees something that I can't even see at this moment. And I'm just gonna take the chance. I don't really know much about the industry or anything, but he seems like a genuine person. And here we are in 2020.
All right. As I recall, I remember you in a collaboration with Protege. I was listening to your songs, and that was probably the first time I had heard your name when I listened to Protege Ancient Future. And I have to say I liked what I heard. So let me ask you, well, besides Protege, are there any other artists that you would like to collaborate with?
For sure. I love to work with Savannah, of course. We're actually, we have a song together, something unofficial. We were in studio one night and we started to vibe to something. So Savannah, Jazzelise, I think Jazzelise is an amazing artist. Tessilated, who is also another young artist from Jamaica. Most people would know him through his song Pine and Ginger, which, blew up. He's also a really great producer. Chronics, Coffee, Popcorn, Her, Sir, Snow Allegra, a whole bunch of people, We just have to see how it all works out.
So what do you love about what you do, what you're doing now? What's your passion?
I think the most interesting thing about what I'm doing is that I'm over here doing something that brings me joy. Something that I've always wanted to do. I remember being stuck in a call center, working every day, being very stressed. And I now have the opportunity to be at home and chill, listen to some music. I can go on tour and just realizing and living my dream. And to know that in doing that, not only am I able to take care of myself, but the bigger and most important aspect of it is that there are real people out in the world that would message me or come up to me when they see me and say, listen, you actually changed my life. I'm 26 years old, I don't even have my own life figured out. And to hear other young people or even grown people come up to me and be like, when I heard where I'm coming from, I was going through so much and that song brought me such, groundation. And I feel like that to me is a very special and powerful energy that really brings me a lot of peace, knowing that I'm here doing what I love and it's vibrating all over the world.
Right on. Well, one thing I'm always curious about with every artist is about the creative process, which I think is unique to each individual. What is your creative process? I mean, how does music flow out of you?
For me, I feel like I get bouts of just inspiration. Like I'd be at home and I feel like, I want to spend today just listening to music. So I'd put on like a live Bob Marley show and I try to decipher what each of the instruments are doing. And I find that brings me, just a lot of inspiration. It kind of just encouraged me to even approach performing differently. And so when I'm creating, I think about how the song would sound while it's being performed on stage. And so because of that, when I'm writing, I don't actually use like a pen and paper initially. It's really, I hear the music and I just get up, I start pretending like I'm performing the song and I just feel through the energy. I'd be humming some melodies, some words might come, sometimes it's just melodies, and I just allow the music to kind of, take control and not me try to say, okay, come here, let me write you down and own you, I allow inspiration to just be, and that brings me more joy than to just be stressing myself trying to make this word rhyme with that word. I really feel it needs to be more natural.
So are you that type of person that sings in the shower or everywhere you go?
For sure. All the time. I sing literally all the time. Like all my friends, I have a friend I normally sleep over by her, and every time I sleep by her, she's like, all right, for sure, you're going to be waking me up in the morning. Can you just tone it down tomorrow because I need some more rest or whatever. But it's just something that I'd be here by myself and I'm just singing. A lot of my songs were written that way.
All right. Well, I just want the listeners to know that we are talking to Lila Iké here on KUNM 89.9 FM and Blazin Reggae Vibes, shop.blazinreggaevibes.com. So Lila, is there a message in your music, or what is the message that you're trying to convey to your fans and listeners?
For me, I feel like as an artist, as a young person, as a creative, my purpose and my method of doing music is to just be real. Mm-hmm. So whatever it is that I experience, whether firsthand or through a conversation or just somebody I know going through something that moves me enough to make me want to comment on it and, put it in a song. I really feel like I try to just be as real as possible. So when I wrote Where I'm Coming From, I was talking about my story, life of a queen in this here concrete jungle. I really went through a lot living in Kingston on my own and not really understanding what that really is, Mm-hmm. And most of my work is really, as me say, I don't even really write stuff down. So it comes out of just my energy and my vibes. So I'd say what I bring to the table is really just realness. And if it's real, then it might not connect with everybody, but it will definitely be something that people can relate to, because if it happens to me, if it's something I'm feeling, we're all connected. So more than likely you will feel it too, or feel something similar.
True. Well, in listening to your album, The Experience, there's 3 songs on there that really hit me hard,
Yeah.
And that one, Where I'm Coming From, that was the first one, because with that one, it kind of helps the people can kind of like, they can see you, like you say, for who you really are and some of the things you went through. The other one I liked was Thy Will. I really liked that one.
It's a powerful song.
Solitude.
That's three really great songs. 3 really nice picks for sure.
So I know The Experience, even the title kind of says it all right there,
Yeah.
And talking to you, just stepping out here into the world it is an experience. What is your favorite song on that LP?
It varies.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first part of this whole pandemic and being at home and all of that, I was really connecting more and more with solitude. Uh-huh. I start, you go through phases in this thing. You're like, okay, I'm good with not being around anybody, but then you start feeling like, you need some interaction, and it has just been a roller coaster for me. And I feel like outside of the context that I was speaking from in Solitude and the whole theme of that song, the energy that surrounded is very light. You listen to it and it's extremely calming. Mm-hmm. It's a very, very calming song. I'll have it in my car playing, and because I don't even, to be honest, I don't listen to my music that much because, I like tapping into other sounds. So that's one of the songs that I find myself listening to a lot. Like I'll actually go and play Lila Iké Solitude, and I'm like, this is really cool. Forget Me also is a really nice song. Uh-huh. So for me, it's between Forget Me and Solitude, right?
All right. Well, I was reading that in 2019, you went on a solo tour in Europe.
Yes, I did.
What was that experience like?
It was a very, very interesting experience because firstly, it was my first time being the boss while on tour, because usually I'll be touring with Protege. Mm-hmm. So, or if it is that I do a one-off show here and there, but now I'm on the road for a whole month and I am basically, the boss, ensuring that everybody is making time. And, so it was a fun experience. It was nice being in that position and understanding what the rest of my career might look like. Mm-hmm. Also, I get to really, connect with my band members on stage more because we're playing every night. We're learning different things and be like, all right, maybe we can drop this from the set, or maybe we can add this. So the whole learning experience of it was fun, and just going to the different countries and experiencing different people also was quite interesting. I think the only downside to Europe for me is the food. Uh-huh. I find it very difficult to find food that I actually enjoy having, because I'm very much a country girl who likes when my food is seasoned properly, have a lot of spice. And sad to say, Europeans, their whole approach to preparation of meal is kind of different.
Right,
But
right.
overall, I got to play some major festivals. I did Rotterdam. I think I went on just before Chronics.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a very peak moment for me in my career. Savannah also played also. I did Reggae Jam, Uppsala. It was like I got to do some really major festivals that, a lot of the artists in Jamaica that are established and huge international artists,
Mm-hmm.
those are the shows that they're on. So for me to be upcoming, and at the time I didn't even have my project out. I literally toured Europe with the 4 singles I had out before this.
All
So
right.
it was a major, big deal for me, for sure.
And I can imagine that you were well received.
For sure, like it definitely, I feel like going on that solo tour also really added to my resume as an artist, because a lot of people would have heard the songs, but they haven't really gotten the opportunity to experience a show, a Lila Iké show. And
Mm-hmm.
it was definitely me, getting in my element. I'm on stage, I'm dancing, I'm singing. It's just high energy, and I find people in Europe really like that kind of show. And so playing that and people getting to actually see my show, I realized that, I actually saw my career kind of got to a new level. Like, okay, she's not just a beautiful singer, she's actually
Mm-hmm.
really good at delivering what she's doing. You're considered an actual artist right now. So
Mm-hmm.
it was really, really great.
Well, while you were on tour, was that kind of a lonely type of situation? I mean, how did you feel?
Um, yeah, it can get very lonely when you're on tour, for sure. Um, the band members are there, but they have been friends with each other much longer than they have known me.
Mm-hmm.
So they will more connect with themselves. Really, really nice people. I love them. But it's just people have their own cliques and thing. And then because I'm the artist, I don't really get to be up late chit-chatting
Right.
with them, or I have to get my rest and be up tomorrow to use my voice and do the same thing. And I really find that whenever I leave Jamaica and I'm outside of Jamaica for more than 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
I really start feeling homesick. I'd be excited, like, yo, I need to go on a trip, or I need to fly out. I'm kind of bored with being at home. But as soon as I get there, 2 weeks in, and I want to come home. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's definitely a lot of mixed emotion on the road. But every night I get to really exude some positive vibes and kind of just fill myself up back with positivity.
Give thanks. Give thanks.
Yeah.
So, any upcoming shows or any tours in the near future? Or?
Well, let's hope. Let's hope so. Let's hope that 2020 is a much lighter year, a much better year. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for that. I was really excited about being on the road this year. This
Mm-hmm.
year was definitely going to be a very, very active and probably the biggest year of my career, for sure, touring with, my first project and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done a show. I did a virtual. I'm mostly doing like virtual presentations
Mm-hmm.
for right now, but it's a different vibe when you have the people right in front of you.
Very true.
So Protege and I, actually, we were supposed to tour together in Europe this year also. We would have probably just been getting back to do some fest in Jamaica and then get back on the road again. So it's a big whamp, but let's hope next year is better. But for right now, I can't say I have anything planned, because
Yeah.
you really can't tell right now with what's
Nope.
happening.
Nobody can plan at this time with this
Yeah,
COVID-19.
for
So,
sure.
so you're in quarantine, I would assume.
Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah. There's not really much to do,
Uh-huh.
there's not really much to do unless I'm going to the studio to hang out with, Protege and them.
Okay. Well, Lila, I want to thank you for sharing your time, your energy, and insights into who you are. I'm really thrilled about it, and
Thank you so much.
I'm most happy that I had a chance to talk to you.
It
And
was
I
really
look
nice talking to you
look
too.
forward to our next conversation
Yeah, man, for
whenever
sure.
that occurs.
For sure.
Uh, is there any words of wisdom or whatnot that you can leave with the listeners out there?
Yeah, man, for sure. I always just say word sound is powerful, you know. Be careful of the things that you say, you know, because it really and truly has a way to just get out there in the world and get back to you. So try to be as positive as ever, no matter how rough it may be or how upset or angry you may be, you know, just kind of tap in and practice empathy and understanding that in this whole corona situation, it really attacks outside of the physical, it really attacks the spiritual to the spirituality of others, and also most importantly your mentality. So I'd really love for people to just stay upful as best as they can, stay positive, don't distract yourself from life, because you can get into Netflix and whatever to just, you know, this year needs to be done with. But try and do something fun in however way to connect with family. You know, you're at home, spend more time with your children, spend more time with family and friends if you can, and stay connected, you know.
Right on, right
Yeah.
on. Give thanks.
Yeah.
Give thanks.
And thank you so much for having me, you know. Thanks so much for your support.
You're very welcome, and I love your music.
You too. Well, I love what you're doing. Thank
I
you.
know. Thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Take
All right.
care.
You too. Take care.